Hello YouTube! So today is episode 9 and I will be talking about the college dorm experience. So pretty much this is stuff that you can apply to a lot of different dorms, but a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is more applied to Murdough and Stengel at Texas Tech. So basically this is different from my other video because the other video was good things to know before you move in. This is more like what to expect when you move in. So basically the first thing that I wanted to point out is that this is roommate heavy. This first thing, it's you want to establish order. So you want to establish order, general expectations with your roommate as soon as you I would say as soon as you get on campus. So what they do is they make you sign I think it's called room pact, and it's a contract, and basically it's saying, do you guys agree on how I think one of the things how frequently is the dorm going to be cleaned, or who's going to do the cleaning, is it going to alternate, it's stuff like that. So you do that for the school and that's required. But beyond that, I would recommend doing your own things so that way you are both on the same page. You know, we want to treat everybody fair, make sure everybody knows what's going on. So that'd be my biggest thing. And something that kind of falls in line with that category is, and I cannot stress this enough, is you want to make sure that you have some type of order or some type of regimen for what's gonna go on when you're indecent or you're changing or whatever it is. And I'm really talking about Stengel, Murdough. I mean, even wall gates types of dorms where it's you open the door and there's your dorm. So for instances like that, you really want to make sure you have some type of regimen, so knock or announce that you're about to come in, do something so that way the other person knows. That's a really big thing, I think, in my opinion. Another thing is living on the first floor, which I did when I was at Murdough 137, and basically living on the first floor, that experience is very foot traffic heavy, not only at night but during the day. I think there was one night when actually this whole group of people came through with a speaker in the hallway, but that was one time thing. That was really fun though. Personally, I like those types of experiences and I'm okay with noise, so I'm not really affected. But compared to if you're on the second, third, fourth, whatever floor, the first floor has all the foot traffic, because anybody who can get into Murdough at all, or Stengel at, Murdough at all, they can use their key and just walk and cut through the building, which is what a lot of people do. So expect a lot of foot traffic, daytime, nighttime, all that stuff, because a lot of people also like to go out one of those doors, whichever way they need to go. So they're probably going to go out of even on Stengel side, Murdough, Stengel, whichever, they're probably going to want to go out of the door that's down your hallway, because that is an open door besides the two doors that go out the building in the middle. So that's another thing is, it's a lot. It's not a lot, but it's something to really think about. That's part of the experience, is you have that foot traffic. Sometimes you hear weird conversations. Sometimes me and my friends would sit out in the hallway and talk, and so people would just walk through. It was just kind of frequent, but also it's college and there's a lot of people, so it's just something to know about the college dorm experience. The third thing is that you want to make sure that you follow the rules that you establish with your roommate. This is so important, because if you set a rule and then you don't do it, or you go back on it a few weeks later, it's well, what are you doing? You want to make sure you stay with those rules that you guys established, or those guidelines or whatever, so that way everybody's treated fair, and that way you both know what's going on. I think that's a really big thing, just making sure you both know what's going on. So another thing about the dorm experience in a dorm like Stengel, Murdough, wall gates, stuff like that, where it's you open the door and it's both your beds right there, is coming in late. So the thing is that it's college, so you might go to a party, or you might go to the football game, or you might have a late night with your friends in their dorm, whatever it might be. Just be considerate of the fact that it is 2 beds in 1 room. So I would say at all possible times, if it's, don't limit your experience, but I would say unless your roommate's super chill, just try to not be out super late and then coming in late, because when you come in late, I literally would just go across the hall to my friends' rooms, and I wouldn't go back to my room until way past midnight. So when I would go in my room, I'd have to shower. I'd have to try to move around in the dark, so my roommate would be asleep. So it's like things like that. So I would say, if at all possible, like if your roommate's not out, like you're out or going to the events that you're going to, and you know, like it's okay, it's, you know, midnight, she's probably gonna be asleep, I would try to maybe not go out unless she's like really chill. Then it'd probably be fine. But that's just something to really consider. And going in with that, Texas Tech does not do the compatibility similarity survey. I know that like University of Oklahoma does that, but Texas Tech does not. So there's a really good chance you're going to get somebody who does not have the same sleep schedule, who maybe does not have the same like you know, like maybe they smoke, you don't smoke, like something like that. Or somebody who like needs noise to go to sleep, like things like that. You might get somebody who's completely the opposite of you. So that's why, and you know, it's dependent on the other person as much as dependent on you, but that dorm experience is, yes, in the world you get put with people that you don't know, and so that's just kind of part of life, is you're with people and you have to kind of like learn to be flexible. But I would also say, as like a tip, I guess, to kind of mitigate that, is try to make sure you communicate with your roommate before you move in, so then you can see if you need to switch your room to make sure that you can function properly for whatever your schedule is that you need to do. And a lot of this stuff is really dependent on what you and your roommate work out, like everything I'm saying pretty much. But another thing is that, and this is kind of a silly one, but this is part of the dorm experience for sure. Before I went, I did not know this how it worked for Stangle Murdough, but I thought it was every floor was like, one floor was girls. Like I thought every floor just had like one, like girls and then boys, and then, so no, it's not like that, because it's basically, the building is shaped like an L, or it's like two L's, but like we're just gonna focus on Murdough. So like for Murdough, it's an L. So like, let's just say like this is Flint Avenue, right? Or no, go this way. Let's say this is Flint Avenue right here. Like this is Flint Avenue. So for in Murdough, this is guys and then this is girls. So from floors 1 to 5, let's just say, I think there's 4, maybe there's 5, but all the floors, let's just say on, let's call it the south side of the building, that's all girls on this side of the L, right? And floors 1 through 5 on this side of the building is all boys on every floor. So if you're on the girls' side, you can walk far enough and you'll be in the guys' side. So I did not know that that was how that worked. I thought it was the one floor is one, like, just girls, and the one floor, no, that's not how it works. So that's definitely something that's a part of the dorm experience, because, well, I was not expecting, I did not think that was going to be how it is. So that's just a good thing I like to always tell people, is that's how that works. Personally, I never had issues with it. I mean, sometimes, like, I personally did not go down that hallway. I went down that hallway maybe 5 times the whole year. I try to not go down that hallway. And so with my experience, I mean, sometimes they're loud, but you know, it's like, it's not like a terrible, like, oh, this is terrible being on the first floor, because on any floor you're gonna have to deal with it. But like, that's just something good to know. And it's kind of a silly one, but that's part of the dorm life, is the guys just right down the hall. So that's interesting. Yeah, but basically, another thing about dorm life is it's very social if you make it social, which this sounds so, I feel like this sounds really like generic, but it's really true. It's really social if you make it social. My first semester, I was not, I mean, I talked to some people. I didn't know anybody when I went to Tech. Like, I didn't know anybody at all. So when I was there, I had to go to the like welcome week, like events that were going on, the different things that interest me. I think I met 3 of my friends at a crew Bible study. I met, I'm trying to think, I met one of my friends just in one of those like hallway conversations, because that happened a lot. I don't know if other floors did it, but definitely the first floor where I was on, that was like very frequent, like that there would just be girls in the hallway talking for like an hour, 2 hours. I want to say one night I was out there for like 5 hours. Like, it's social if you want it to be. So for my first semester there, I was talking to different people at different things, and when I was talking to those people, that's how I got to know people, and so I was getting to know them. And I think after my first month, I started to invite people over into my room, because what actually ended up happening, I guess Murdough is so popular is most of the people who I met, they actually did live in Murdough. There was only one person I knew who didn't live in my dorm, was my friend, which is pretty cool. So when I got to, want to do things, want to go to the basketball game, football game, it was easy to just come back and we were all in the same place. And then with that, it's really as social as you make it, because my second semester, that's when, you kind of form a closer bond with people. So the second semester, I was in people's rooms way more. I was going out with people way more, sitting in that hallway talking way more. So the whole dorm experience, as social as you make it. There were even some points where, and I personally like this, but there's benches out in the lobby of Murdough. So some nights it would be 11:30 at night. I would just go sit out on the bench and I would just chill with my friend, maybe, kind of people watching. But that was a good chance to be social too, because there'd be people you're out here on the bench, what are you doing? I'd be I'm just sitting out here. So that's definitely something, it's just as social as you make it. Because the first semester I was not very social. I would come back from class, I would go work out. I would maybe I would go work out, get dinner, I would shower, I'd watch TV, go to bed. That's what I was doing the first semester. The second semester though, I turned things around. I was way more social. So it would be I go to class, I would maybe, sit in my building or sit in the lobby, or go out with a friend to lunch, then go back to my room, maybe just put my stuff down. I would go straight to my friend's room. I would stay there all night. I would eat dinner there. I would stay there, go back to my room, shower, then go back to their room, then go to bed. So I was way more social the second semester. And really, it's just what you it's just how social you want to be. So that's a big thing about dorm life. And that kind of sounds like I'm just talking about friendship in general, but like I said, most of my friends were in Murdough, and not even that actually. I think all of them, except for 2, were on the first floor. So it was, as much as it seems like I'm talking about friendship, it really is just sociability, because I was able to be social with people on my floor, but they were also my friends, and so I was able to do it like that. Another thing, and this kind of ties with that, is when you have your dorm room, right, your whole hallway, you're going to have community meetings, so you're going to see those people over and over again. So always try to be nice. Well, always try to be nice to everybody, but always try to be nice to those around you, because at some point somebody could go in the group chat, because they make you join a group chat, but somebody could go in the group chat and ask for, be asking for a t-shirt. I'm trying to think of some of the things people would ask for. I can't remember, but they could ask for a t-shirt, or to use your hair dryer, something like that. People could ask, and you could even need something too. So just remember that it's a community, and this sounds I feel like this sounds kind of cliche, but it's a community. So that's part of the dorm life, is they're your neighbors. It's an actual neighborhood. So there may be people, there was somebody who actually, she lived I'm not gonna totally call her out. She lived very close to me, and I didn't even realize it until the second semester. She was oh yeah, I'm on the first floor. I was are you serious? I've never seen you. And it's just kind of it's kind of just how it is. But that's just dorm life, is as social as you make it. I think actually across from me, I was friends with the people who were across from me, and then the 2 people that were on either side of those people ended up all of them were my best friends. So that was really awesome. I didn't go and knock on their door and be I'm the best friends with you 3 in front of me, but it just ended up happening that way. So it was really cool. But that's a really big thing, I feel with dorm life. And that's more of the general, I feel these are general things you can apply to every type of dorm and every school. But I would even say, in your actual dorm room, the dorm experience is very interesting. It just really depends on how you and your roommate are, who your roommate is, and how you guys interact. But for me, I never had a roommate before, so I'm always used to just having my own room. So it was very different to go and share a room with somebody, because it wasn't just it wasn't one of the types of dorms where it's the living room, then the room. No, it's your bed is your shared space. And that's another important thing. Your bed is your shared space, is your kitchen, is your living room. It's all that in one. So that's just a big thing to remember. If you ever have people over, or if you go over somebody's room, is you're not only just sitting on their bed, you're sitting on kind of their couch, but you're also sitting in their kitchen. It's all one, all in one kind of. But yeah, think that that's a big thing too, is making sure that, you know, you kind of just know how things are with you and your roommate. So then, like, when you open that door and you're in that room and that's like your space, that you're able to feel safe and comfortable in your space. Because that's a big deal. I mean, this is the dorm experience, is you may have to be flexible or adjust to things, of course, but you also want to make sure you're comfortable. So part of that is just realizing that it is a shared space. And that's a big thing. Like, that I was like, whoa. Like, I thought it'd be like you split the room and then one side's yours and one side's hers. And I mean, that's one way you could do it, of course, but like, it is a shared space. Like, if they have people over, they're gonna be like close to your stuff, or, you know, they could go and borrow whatever from your side of the room. So it's like things like that. So it's just good stuff to remember.